Ebony, thank you so much for joining us. It is so great to have you on the show, and obviously important news with you, Salesforce, putting out this grant. So you've just announced a $20 million grant to school districts. Where is this money going and how will it be distributed?
Yeah, I just want to back up for a minute, Emily. I think we all know that COVID-19 has completely transformed and it's really continuing to transform every aspect of our lives. So whether you're in kindergarten or you're in college, education changed overnight, and it's been a real challenge for everyone. And so we really just want to make sure that the schools have everything they need to be successful right now, from technology resources to financial resources. And that means that making sure every student has a device, internet connectivity, food, and access to resources. So as you mentioned, we're excited to announce $20 million to grants to 5 school districts across the US. That's Oakland, San Francisco, Indianapolis, Chicago, and New York City, which brings our total global investment in public schools to $118 million. So we're really excited to be making that announcement.
This is a global pandemic, and it's great that you're doing this, but this is happening everywhere. Do you see the opportunity for this to go more broad, or do other companies around the world need to be stepping up and doing this for their communities?
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for everyone to pitch in and to help out, right? This is not a problem for governments. It's not a problem for nonprofit organizations. It's not just a problem for schools. This is all of our concern. We have to be thinking about our students and their future. And so I always say that philanthropy is not a competitive sport. It's additive, it's collective. So if everyone is doing their part, we can help out.
Is this something that you see helping schools get on the path to reopening? And if so, how does that get done safely? We've seen, obviously, with the examples of the high school in Georgia, how that cannot go so well.
Absolutely. So a few months ago, we launched Work.com for businesses and governments, really enabling them to use the #1 CRM platform to navigate the complexities of reopening safely. And it's been extremely successful. So now, as school districts plan to reopen their own classrooms, we're announcing Work.com for schools. So that was a second piece of our announcement. And really, Work.com for schools is a technology command center that gives schools the tools that they need to reopen safely, whenever that is. And I really love this product because, it's a technology command center. It's contact tracing, so schools can track the spread of the virus in the case of an infection. It enables schools to manage their facilities and shift scheduling. It allows schools to manage communications. Imagine having to quickly reach out to families via text, email, or phone. And we're hoping that counselors and student support staff will help remove barriers for students and really give them a complete 360-degree view of their students' need.
Do you think that this will fundamentally, you've talked about how this will fundamentally change work and whether or not work will be more flexible and much more remote in the future, whether there's a pandemic or not. Do you see the same for schools?
I'm not sure, right? I wish I knew the answer to that. What I do know is that we have an opportunity right now to close the digital divide. We have to meet students where they are right now. And right now there's a global pandemic and it's not safe in some places to reopen. And so we want to give them the tools that they need to do that. And whether, I was thinking about this the other night, when I went to school, it was 100% in person, and that was, primary school. When I got to college, I had hybrid, an option to do online classes. But now, when we left, it like everything turned off. It was like a light switch. Lights turned off, we were all sheltered in place. And now as we reopen schools, businesses, governments, it's like a dimmer switch, slowly turning on the dial to figure out when it's safe to do that. So I think it'll be a hybrid situation for a little bit, and we'll see what the future holds.
Are you concerned about a learning gap for our students? I mean, are you concerned, you mentioned the digital divide, that some communities just won't be well served and kids will get left behind?
I am concerned, but that's exactly why we're lending our resources. And to your point before, we need others to step up and get involved, because I think we can collectively solve this, with a little bit of ingenuity, with technology, with all of the resources that we can throw at this to make sure that no student gets left behind.
Joe Biden just picked Kamala Harris as his VP on the ticket, the first Black and Asian American woman on a major party ticket, also an Oakland native. Curious what your thoughts are on what this means for, obviously for our country, but also for the tech community, given her work in California and close ties to Silicon Valley.
Well, I'm not here to talk about politics. So what I can tell you is no matter the administration, we are committed to supporting education and ensuring that we're equipping all young people with the skills and the opportunity they need to reach their full potential. And that 20 million that we announced yesterday will help schools really roll out new initiatives that can bridge that digital divide and help all students, including those who are at the greatest risk of being left behind.
Ebony, you manage a lot of people. You're the Chief Philanthropy Officer at Salesforce. How is this pandemic changing the way you think about how you're managing your teams and how philanthropy will be different going forward?
It's a really great question, Emily. You know, our work, is underpinned by our values: equity, impact, and collaboration. My team and I go over this every single time we have a team meeting. So we know that with COVID-19, people were impacted overnight, and we saw that it was disproportionately impacting communities of color. But equity was one of our core values all along. So we were always looking to support communities of color and vulnerable communities. But the one thing this has changed is how we're interacting with each other and how we're as a team and how we're interacting with the communities that we serve. As a team, we used to be able to meet physically. We can't do that. So we have to come up with different strategies to work remotely. And more importantly, when it comes to serving the communities, one of our big things was volunteering in schools. We can no longer go in schools. It's not safe for us and it's not safe for the kids. So we had to reimagine our volunteering. And we've come up with a How You Can Help page for our employees with a list of virtual volunteer opportunities all around the world. We're doing virtual mentoring and hot mapping in communities all over the globe. So it's really forced us to think differently, have a beginner's mind about how we approach philanthropy now and going forward.